My name is Lorenzo Brown.
My name is Adam Rieger.
My name is Sebastian Alexander Iscariot Davis.
I was homeless in Chicago.
I was homeless for about 3 years.
I lost, everything.
San Francisco, home of the Golden Gate Bridge, some of the largest tech industries in the world, and approximately 7,500 homeless individuals.
San Francisco is now becoming known for homelessness.
The homeless situation.
And a homeless situation.
The homeless situation is out of control.
San Francisco's homeless crisis has been rampant for the last 40 years, with little change through that time. It first boomed in 1982 with sudden release of thousands of patients from mental institutes, otherwise known as deinstitutionalization. This number has been growing ever since.
Homelessness hasn't changed in the Tenderloin. It's different contributing factors, behavioral addiction, trauma, socioeconomics, the cost of living in San Francisco.
Over the past 14 years, San Francisco has been home to over 26,000 homeless individuals, many of whom have been on the streets for over a year.
So certain patterns that we see in this neighborhood, in the Tenderloin specifically, are just patterns of past trauma in early adulthood or childhood, and then the frustration of having to grapple with life.
My foster family passed away due to people I was hanging out with. And 3 months before that, I lost my son and my girlfriend at the time to a drunk driver. So loss is my story. And once I lost everything, it was just much easier for me to numb myself with drugs and alcohol, because then I wouldn't have to feel.
I would say the biggest thing actually with the problem with the homeless is they actually feel unloved and uncared for. And that puts a barrier for them to seek care.
Due to the fact that I didn't have my real mom and I didn't have nobody who cared for me, I hated myself. And because I felt unworthy and I hated myself, I made choices to hang out with people who have been through similar pain.
When I got arrested, I've been looking for help for a long time. I was homeless in the street for years and did not know really where to get a start, especially me being on the street, going through the process of having to go through the intake, detox, all that out here would be extremely hard. I tried it and I never got past a couple days.
Another big thing that a lot of the homeless population grapples with is mental illness. And so it's harder if you have some sort of mental illness to be able to organize yourself to get treatment and make sure you get even just a shelter bed.
Of the homeless population living in San Francisco, 41% are drug or alcohol abusers. 1 in 5 homeless individuals in San Francisco are homeless because of their substance abuse.
I've been using cocaine, alcohol and marijuana for pretty much most of my adult life. My drug use led me to prison on about 3 different occasions, and it didn't stop me from using.
I did things I would never do now, ever, but that was in my addiction. Like I was spiritually, emotionally, and physically numb to all the damage I was doing out there.
Addictive disorders disrupt relationships with family and friends and often correlates with unemployment and bankruptcy, and eventually homelessness. Homelessness is not a simple cycle. For some, homelessness begins with addiction. Addiction can both stem from or lead to trauma. Trauma can lead to mental illness, which can further addiction. Addiction and mental illness can lead to the loss of one's job, and with the addition of the high cost of living in San Francisco, this easily leads to bankruptcy. In the larger picture, any of these factors can force people onto the streets, and as they continually build on each other, the cycle becomes nearly impossible to escape.
The way I was running my life, I was running into the ground. Literally, I almost ended up in the ground the way I was running my life. So I had to conform to all the rules and regulations here, and I was willing to because my life depends on it.
The homeless crisis in San Francisco is unique to our city. With years known as a sanctuary city, as well as the abundance of our outreach programs, we continually serve the growing population.
The homeless community is huge here. It is huge.
There's no end to this crisis in sight, but with gradual changes, an impact can be made. The crisis cannot be a faceless problem swept away.
The city of San Francisco, or as we call it, the city of St. Francis, is known for its caring and compassionate approach to dealing with those in need.
In order to make a change, we need to help one life at a time.
For the first time in my life, with the help of Father Alfred's, I voted. For the first time in my life, I made a collage. For the first time in my life, I carved a pumpkin.
I'm looking at going back into my trade. I was a boilermaker for 12 years.
My plans, I'm going to go to college. I want to be a novel writer.
You know, I mean, this is the healthiest I've been in probably like 15 years.
I can definitely say that I'm no longer numb to life itself.
The cycle of homelessness is nearly impossible to break, and many never receive the chance to turn their lives around. Yet, in San Francisco, the resources we provide and the support we give makes breaking the cycle a little bit easier.